So we're actually gonna start standing. So wherever you are in your house, on your mat, whatever's comfortable. And let's start a little bit more traditional. So let's do the feet together. Now if this is super uncomfortable for you, just go wider. Just give yourself more space. Just be mindful, you're trying to notice how the feet are landing, notice how the knees are pointing and how everything kind of orients up from there. When I bring my legs together, I soften the knees forward, I hug to the center point, and then I pull up from the front. Give yourself some time just to be in the process of the practice, right? So drawing your arms down and grounding, essentially. One of the themes today, we're going to have like a little short story at the end for a longer meditation. But one of the themes is let the fear happen, but do it anyway. So we're going to just kind of give ourselves into the ground, give ourselves into whatever feelings are there, and just keep breathing through it. So with that, we'll start with the breath. Let's exhale everything out. Take an inhale, see if you can fill it up. Use your nose or your mouth, whatever's accessible. Hold it in. Drop the shoulders a little bit. And then exhale. Good. Now, some of you may already have an established breathing pattern, like Ujjayi breath is how you like to really work. If that's new, just try fogging the mirror very, very gently out of your mouth when you exhale. And you're going to try to continue working that through your nose eventually. The inhale can be a little bit more challenging to find that, but it's very useful in this style of practice with the breathing and the movement combined. Let's just take one more breath collectively. Exhale everything out. Big breath in, fill it up. And then a big exhale. Yeah, feel that one all the way down to your feet. From here, we're going to move into some side stretching. So we're going to take the arms down, out and up. Now you can do the grip that we do in the traditional practice with all 10 fingers index up. You could just hold your hands. You can even, if you want to, hold a block in between and use that kind of as a pushing to a center point. I really like that one. Also, you can take one hand to the wrist. We're going to lean to the right first. So you're going to inhale, lift up, and then exhale, just stretch over to the right. Now you're going to try to do your best to keep this whole front drawn back and then really lift from that bottom left rib. As you play with this too, you can totally move a little bit, right? Be mindful around it, but try to draw your weight back into the heels. And if you want to test it out, you can always lift the toes up. I think that's a good tool. And the breathing shouldn't be completely hindered. I mean, you might have to isolate it more. Think left side broad, front of chest, back of chest. Lean, lean, lean. And then come all the way up. If you want to move around a little bit, go for that. We're going to take a breath in, lift and stretch. Exhale to the other side. You might have to switch it up on this side, flipping the wrist, doing something different. It's not easy to keep the arms up, so take breaks as you need it. But do your best. If you're breathing and you're okay with it, keep playing with it. Yeah, play with not allowing the hips to twist with the shoulders. So you might feel like you're starting to let that right side fall forward on this side. Pull the left armpit underneath you and lift through the heart. When you're exhaling, you can also focus on drawing the low belly back with every exhale you take, and that can give you a little bit more space for strength. And the breathing. Take another breath in. Exhale, let it go a little farther if you can. Come all the way up. So we're going to take this grip, we're going to flip the palms and crack the knuckles if that feels good. Stretch your chest up, 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 up. You can even go a little back. Come to the center, take your elbows out, your hands to your neck, elbows in, and then just slowly, gently roll all the way down. Soften your knees the moment you feel tension. And then we're going to allow the legs to bend. Again, this could be a point when you open up the feet. I'm going to keep mine together. But let some movement in. Notice how your feet are handling the tension now that you're bringing along the backside. Consistency in your breathing, keep at that. Good, let's drop it all down. Let the head go. You're going to take a half lift. So we're going to inhale, push into a point, floor, shins or thighs. And then exhale, fold it down. Do that again. Inhale, extend out. And exhale, soften down. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. Soften the knees, step it back. Let's do plank position. Good, we'll hold this one for a little bit. All right, try to give yourself enough space at shoulder's width. Try not to let the hips get droopy. Lift them up. Try not to buckle the elbows forward. Soften them in, especially if you hyperextend like me. And then maintain your breathing, right? Being strong, but also allowing the breath to flow freely. When it starts to get challenging and you want to take the break, you might decide to give it into it, or you might decide to take a breath first. We're going to be here for a few more moments. Good. Take a big inhale, point through your toes. Exhale, go all the way down to the stomach. Untuck the feet, hug the elbows in. We're going to do a few baby cobras, so less arm strength. Inhale, lift the back. Exhale, lower down. Do it again. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Nice and ooey gooey. Inhale, lift. Let's hold this one. So you can push up a little bit with your hands. Notice how that feels. Where are you feeling it the most? Use your legs, push them down. Now try to keep where you've landed. Lift your hands. Keep breathing. Inhale. And exhale, lower. Push up to tabletop or plank. Lay down, Higby. Come over here. All the way down. Not on the mat. This is what we have to deal with in the pet house. Go to down dog. Come here, dog. Okay, walk out your down dog. See how that feels? Stay Higby. Again, just playing with bending the knees quite a bit and using that to give you a little bit more leverage to lift from the hands. Stay. Shake the head out. No, no, no. Good. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. From here, bend the knees. You're going to walk your hands to your feet. Forward fold at the back of your mat. You can let your feet land at hips width. Just keep them where they are. Hang the head. Take a half lift. Exhale, drop it down. From there, you're going to roll up to standing. Once you get all the way to the top, take a breath in. We're going to inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, fold all the way down. From there, walk it to plank. Point through the toes. Optional chaturanga or all the way to the belly. Exhale. Take an up dog back bend or cobra. Back to down dog. Exhale. We're going to flow through that a little bit just to give you a little different way of moving in the perspective of a sun salutation. Inhale, push the ground away. Walk all the way back to the feet. Exhale to hang heavy. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, hang heavy. Inhale, stand up, swing the arms how it feels good. And exhale, fold it down all the way. Inhale, walk it out to plank. Pull forward. Exhale, go down. Back bend with the breath. Back to down dog, exhale. Inhale, push the ground away. Walk it all the way back. Exhale to fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hang heavy. Inhale, standing up. And exhale, folding down. Halfway lift. Exhale, hang heavy. Walk it out to plank. Pulling forward with the breath in. Exhale to lower. Back bend with your breath. And exhale back to down dog. Pause there, breathe. Take a full inhale and a full exhale. Nice. Inhale, push the ground away, walk to your feet. Hang heavy. Take a half lift. On your exhale, hang heavy, tap the hands back. Inhale to chair pose. So we are doing a little bit more modified, knees in line with toes at hips width. If you want to bring it to a center point, you can bring it more narrow. With the feet a little wider, you might be able to get more depth. Try not to go lower than the knees, just about parallel to the floor if you can handle that. Imagine squeezing a block if you have one, you can. And a little lift of the chin. Good. Taking a big breath in. Exhale, fold over the legs. Good. Another half lift. Inhale, prepare the spine. Exhale, hang heavy. Inhale, walk all the way out to plank. Exhale, step your right foot through. High lunge. So that step could have taken a few moments, so don't feel rushed. If you needed to kind of lift it higher up instead of going from plank, like kind of half down dog, you can kind of swing it and then use your hand through. Give yourself a moment to drop into that front leg. You might have to go a little bit wider. Slide your front hip back and lift through the chest. Take a full inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down. Plank. Step your left leg forward. Inhale, high lunge, other side. All right, consistent breath. I always like to close my eyes and kind of see how that shifts where I'm feeling grounded. Like how much are my eyes really doing for me? How much are they taking away from the moment too? Take a big breath. Exhale, put the hands down. Move it to plank. You can go right to chaturanga. Maybe take an extra breath, then exhale down. Back bend again with your breath in. Back to down dog with the exhale. Let's do it like this. Just again, inhale, push the ground away, walk back. Take a half lift. Exhale, tap the hands behind you. Then inhale to chair. Pause there. Now a couple options. Stay with what we've been doing. If you want to do something with the arms, you can go behind the back with your 10-finger grip and just give yourself a little bit of a chest stretch and opening. Try to keep the lift of your chest with the scoop of your belly. Draw down and back. Chin will stay lifted. Try lifting the toes. Breathing from across the front of the chest, right to left to right. Take another inhale. Exhale, fold with your arms if you like that, and then let your arms drape and start to shift around it. Take another breath. Release your arms on your exhale. Head heavy. Half lift, use your arms. Exhale, drape. Walk out to plank. Good, lift your left leg up, step it through. High lunge on the left. Now hopefully it's feeling a little bit more open because you've done this once. Try softening this back knee and then shifting forward a little bit. We're going to move this into an actual shift of weight in a moment. So in the next round of this, so softening the knee and just giving yourself the ability to see kind of what the ankle joint can do, how this knee is tracking, right? Do you need to keep a little bit of a bend in the knee there? Balance challenge. Take a breath. Exhale, bring the hands down, step it to plank. Again, you could lift a little higher, then step it through too, right side. Arms up, inhale. Yeah, play with the movement, back and forth. What starts to grip? Is it in your chest, right? Sometimes when we're holding on to balance, it kind of rises up. It goes up in this upper space. Get grounded. This should be able to move wherever we want to go as long as this is supporting it. Take another breath in. Exhale, hands down. Optional, chaturanga vinyasa, or skip it. Go back to down dog. Good, guys. Okay. Bend the knees. Now we're going to look forward and go to the top of the mat. Walk separate down. Land in a position of feet that's comfortable for you. Take a half lift. Exhale, tap back. Arms up, chair pose. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold out of it. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, feet back. Plank pose. We're going to skip the chaturanga. Step your right foot forward. You could always do it if you really wanted to, but we're skipping it. High lunge. Okay. So play with that bend of the knee. Play with shifting forward and back. Okay, we're going to start to shift on one leg. Try to keep your arms up. When you get to one leg, we are going to play with folding over to the hatha balancing pose in a little bit, but we're not doing it yet. We're going to do the next round. So I would play with lifting your knee as high as you can without lifting that hip up. Play with kicking out. See how that feels. Circle the ankle. Notice how much your belly is doing versus your hip flexor. Can you use the low stomach and kick down as much as you're kicking or lifting up? Breathing, hopefully. It's a good stabilization for the ankle muscles. All of this whole joint line, we're getting a lot of support. You're going to take a breath in. On your exhale, slowly step it back to warrior two. You might have to adjust the stance a little bit. Heel to heel or heel to arch. I like to do heel to heel personally. Pull the right hip back, let the left hip slide forward, then open the chest, then reach to the arms. You can look over the right shoulder if it's comfortable. Try to lift the foot in the front. Yeah. Okay, pull forward, go up and back, reverse it. You're going to try not to lift out of this leg, and you're going to try not to let the knee bow in. If that starts happening, let your left hip roll forward and lift out of the low back. Take a big breath. Exhale, warrior two, to side angle all the way down. So options here. Block, or you can come up to your thigh. You do not have to go all the way down. If going down is an option, and Gavin's actually doing the hatha version where he's not touching anything. So this is going to be a little bit more strength oriented. He's squeezing the 2 points there and rolling the rib cage underneath. And breathing. So from here, take a breath in. On your exhale, bring your hand all the way flat to the ground if you can. And we're going to try to step it back to side plank. Wiggle your right foot back. If you need to lengthen the distance, do the same. Higby's on the move. Testing my balance. Nice, guys. Take a breath. Exhale to plank. Step your left foot through. Inhale. High lunge, other side. Good. Ready to go. Soften. Bend. Bounce a little bit. Lift up. Take a moment to play with it. Try not to hold it, but you could, right? If you wanted a little bit more support, grab the knee. I would go under. Come here, bud. Lay down. Come over here. Lay all the way down. All the way down. Stay. Circle the ankle. Take an inhale to lift. Exhale, gently step it back. Watch out, Higby. Warrior two. One side might feel pretty different, right? Do what's necessary for this side. It doesn't have to be exactly like the other side. Go from the feet, feel out the knees, then to the hips, then to the ribs, arms span out, then move from the neck. Try to lift through the foot, maybe challenge that. Reach forward, flip the palm, up and back. We're trying to make the space before we take it to side angle and go all the way down to fold from the hip. So lift from that hip crease all the way to armpit. Use the extension of your arm. I think left hip a little bit more swiveled back, Gavin. Other way. Yeah. Take one more breath. Exhale, left hand down on the inside of the foot, like heel of foot to heel of hand. You can tent. Again, block it or elbow it. Or the hatha traditional variation, which is going to be a little bit more strengthening, especially from the center of the core work. Take a breath if you want to look up. Inhale. Exhale, slide the hand down. We're going to step it back. Side plank. Nice, keep breathing. You could also bring a knee down here, or even step one foot in front. Try to stay with whatever you need to do to breathe more fully within the strength. Take a big breath in. Exhale, come to your plank position. Inhale, let's go forward, and then exhale, Chaturanga Vinyasa. Back bend with the breath in. And then exhale with your breath out. Pausing there, take a moment to move it. Soften the knees, scoop the low belly, use your arms, and then drop your head. Shake it, no, no, no. Try lifting all 10 toes up. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, push the ground away. Exhale, bend the knees. Come to the top of your mat. Set the feet. Take a half lift inhale. Exhale, tap it back. Inhale to a chair. And exhale, fold it down. Halfway lift. Exhale to plank. Step your left foot through. High lunge. Okay, bending that back knee. Shift your weight forward. So we're going to move more into our traditional hatha folding over the leg with the rounded spine and then kicking and lengthening. We did this the other day, but the first step will be to lift up and try to reach for the foot. This could be just going down. It could be grabbing underneath. 10-finger grip. I prefer not to hook the thumbs because it gets me all jammed up in my wrists. I loosen it, but I'm still using the lift of the stomach and the work of the arms. Kicking down, but pulling up through the belly. If you want to kick out, push to the heel. Try not to go too high. This angle is going to help us get our spine to lengthen more. If that happens, you're feeling pretty good. Elbows can come down. And eventually, forehead to knee. But you got to breathe while you do it. Don't let the standing knee bend to get that top leg straight. So you're going to slowly do your best. Come out and try to lift the leg up. Don't put it down. Good. Swing it back. Warrior two leg. So we're still feeling quite a bit on the underside of this leg, hopefully. Pull forward. Flip the palm. Reverse the warrior. Big breath in. Exhale to warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Lengthen. Let's take it to triangle so the front leg will be straight. As straight as you can. And this is also a great moment for a block, right? The goal isn't necessarily to reach the floor. And this is very similar to what we just did, especially if you were doing the hatha version. The hips don't all of a sudden jam open. They stay pretty pulled back to that position so we can twist the chest. Just using the ground a little bit more. Try to lift all 10 toes. So trying to keep this, the architecture that you've built on top, just bend your bottom knee and start to go a little lower and see if you can get the hand down. Once your hand is on the ground, look at your hand and your foot And you're gonna very gently shift your weight to step forward. So, some options again. Come up and out of it if that transition was a little bit too much. You can put a block on the ground. You can also move your hand to the center instead of towards the left foot. We're not gonna bind this like the bird. We're just gonna move around the arm and then get ourselves a stand with the connection of the elbow / shoulder, inner thigh. So you can kind of watch Gavin. He's gonna flip his palm. He's gonna move his arm over his head. And then he's gonna go all the way around and back, and he's just gonna do these arm swims around the spine. You don't have to stay close to your body. You can go a little wider, especially if you're feeling limited in that range of motion. But try to reach as far out as you can in a big circle. And eventually you're trying to really keep the hips level through this and lengthen the spine out from there. And go at your own pace. There's really like no rush. Just kind of feel out where the sticky parts are. Lengthen the side body as much as you can. Like think of this like a half lift with arm movements. Bend the knees to get the ground. Do one more circle. Good, and then fold it down. Release it for a second. So from here, we're just gonna play with lifting up, kind of like Bird of Paradise, if you're familiar with that, but doing it without any grips, like without any binding at least. So you're gonna take your left hand right back where it was on the ground. Try to get it more on the inside of the leg, so your shoulder is on the inside of the knee. Take your right arm up, and it might be a little lower, it doesn't have to be all the way up like ours are. Shift your weight to the right foot, squeeze your knee into the shoulder, let your arm hang, and stand up with your leg. Your arm at this point can drop at the top, or if it feels good to keep it lifted, keep it lifted. We're not connected, we're just lifting the leg up. Squeeze into the point that it's touching. If you want to be super brave, you can try to extend it out. Great. Développé leg dancer. Gavin's using the two-piece finger grip. Good. Go ahead and release. Shake it out. Whew. That's hard. Okay, we're going to go ahead and take it to plank. Step the right foot through. Other side. Let's see if we can remember what we did. Arms up. Soften your back knee. Give yourself a moment to feel the front of that hip. Hopefully that feels really nice. We're going to shift forward. Kick up. Whew. That was a harder transition that time. Lift your chest. Fold down. Work all 10 fingers. If you can get just to the point at least, like this is going to help you hold on more. This is going to be a little harder for the belly, but a little bit easier on the joint line. Again, you can kick out if you want. Breathing in. The spine will be, I can show you from the side too. The spine's going to be a little bit more rounded in this. You might have to be higher up and then kick out. Being higher up will give you more leverage if you're bending the knee in the bottom a lot. But eventually the spine's going to round at the end of this pose too. So once you've kicked forward, if everything is where it's stacked, you're breathing, you're feeling grounded, elbows bent, and then forehead to knee. Whew. And notice we're coming and going a lot. Like that's how it goes, right? Balancing the whole time isn't necessarily the goal. Lift up, swing your leg back. Warrior two. Span the arms open. Feel nice and grounded. Reach forward, flip your right hand, go up, stretch it out. Exhale to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Swivel back that hip, reach forward. Take another big breath in. Exhale, bend your right knee. Right, and you can use your hand on the ground. You can put your hand on the block. or even coming up higher. Right, if you're going on the ground, it's like such. Look at your hand and your foot on the floor, and then we're just going to gently step to where the hand and the foot are. And then again, you can use the block. You can keep the hand right where it is. We're going to work our arm swim. So looking up at the top hand, swim over the head. Take 1 or 2 more arm swims depending on what you need. And we'll again just relax and rest it for a moment. When you are feeling ready, come back to that position of bent knees, right hand on the ground. Try to go on the inside of the leg, inner thigh side. Take the left arm up to get the chest to move open. Hug your knee into the side body. You can look down or forward, whatever you want. We're going to slowly lift by connecting the knee to the shoulder or wherever it is on the arm and standing up. Connect these points. Squeeze them together. This arm really isn't holding it though. It's the inner thigh working. Squeeze the underside of that left leg. Lift through this top arm. Like imagine you actually had something to hold on to. Breathe. Last inhale. And exhale, lower. Oh, Gavin needs to do his toe thing. You can keep going. If you need more time, definitely take it. Sorry, babe. I didn't mean to steal that from you.
Okay.
Let's take a half lift inhale. And exhale. Chaturanga, optional. You can also go right back to down dog. Oh, nice. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to skip a little bit in the beginning of this one. We're just going to move to plank. We're going to go inhale forward, plank, exhale, step your right foot through. High lunge, inhale. Kind of following a pattern, but sometimes we have to make new ones as we go. Still shifting our weight. Kick off, leg up. Similar theme, but this time with flexion in this front foot. Cross it over for that figure 4. Now, this one, lots of options. If you guys have variations, totally play with them, be safe. There's arm balancing variations, there's twisting variations, there's baby cradling. Depends on kind of what you're going for. I'm going for the hip stretch, so I'm folding it. Cradling like he is right there. Keep the connection really consistent in the locking of the grip and the kicking of the foot into the elbow. Yeah, gotta breathe though. Now if you did what Gavin did and you're upright, start to come back to where I am. From here, this is gonna be a butt booster. You're gonna lift back to where we started. We're gonna take this to warrior 3. So you're gonna kick back. So if the arms are too much, just drop them, but try to keep your chest extending. The arms often can help the length of the spine stay engaged. Don't let this hip roll up. We are going to do that in a moment, but try to stabilize first. Right hip lifts, low belly in. If your arms are up, go ahead and drop them. If you want to, take a block for support or something, your dog, a book, a pillow. Left hand to the left hip, roll it open. This is our half moon. Lifting the left arm up as an option. Whew. Soften the standing knee. Kick it straight. Now for those of you that want a little bit more, I don't know if you can see it from here. I'll change directions. You may or may not know this already, but you're going to heel the butt cheek up there. Take the top arm to the foot on the pinky side edge. And then you eventually kick into the hand and back bend. Not up high. Stay level with the floor, while also not losing the integrity of your standing leg. It's an option. Didn't say it was an easy one. Wherever you are, slowly step it back to warrior two. Let it land. That back leg being down can do a lot. Take an inhale, just reach it up and over. Reverse it. And then we're going to go exhale right into plank. Step your left foot through. High lunge. Whew. Not a lot of down dogs in this practice, actually. Bend the knee and shift your weight. Cross it. Figure four. Wherever you want to go. Baby cradling it, folding it, reaching for the ground, inverting it, arm balancing it. The world is your oyster, or your floating pigeon. Yeah, slowly start to come out of that cradle if you were up there. We're going to take this knee, climb it up, arms up, swing it back. Try not to put the foot down if you can. Warrior three. Scoop up in the front of the thigh and lengthen through the back leg. Arms can stay up. We are going to drop them in a moment, so if that feels just better, do that. Think about trying to lift the 5 toes underneath you, but also spread through the back toes. And you can soften your standing knee a tiny bit to find the muscles around the knee joint. Lift from them. Okay, let's start to play with that half moon. So if you need the block or if you like it, I personally love having a block. Roll open the right hip. Take the arm up. You could also take the arm over the head. I didn't say that on the other side. Playing with those arm swims. A lot of this movement, it just layers on so nicely. So if you feel called and inspired to improvise, you are at home, so do your thing. Heel to butt cheek for those of you playing with a little bit more on top of this. Grabbing from the top side of the foot and then kicking behind you. It's quite the counterbalance, so be patient. Almost there. Step it back to warrior two. Whew. Once you feel grounded, put more weight on your back leg so you can take some of the pressure off the front one. Pull forward, reverse it, stretch that whole left side out. Inhale. On your exhale, hands will come to the mat. Option, chaturanga or not. Up dog. Down dog. Okay. One last little bit and then we're gonna stretch it out. So, plank again. Lift your left leg, step it through. High lunge. Come all the way up. So this time, we're gonna take the heel to the butt cheek. Take this right hand. Usually, and you can actually choose, pick and choose your yogi move. Usually I go on the inside of the foot, but let's go on the outside of the foot today. Because if you want to play with trying to do that move I just did in half moon, you're going to see why in a second. So if you want to stay here and just balance, you kick the leg back. Try not to open the hips up. Right, this really comes from the standing hip pulling up and around. You can fold it a little bit if you want to do a little bit more hatha-y. If you want to do from the top side what we just did from the underside, you start to kick, look for your block on the ground, hold on to it, and then you shift around. For those of you that getting the grip in the balance is really challenging, this is helpful for that. Take another breath, maybe 2, maybe 3. Good. We're just gonna release that one. Nothing fancy after that. Let's take a breath in. Arms up, inhale. Fill it up. Exhale, fold it down. Soft knees. Sit it, you can half lift actually. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, hang. Let's go to plank. Other side. Right foot through. High lunge. Nice. Shift your weight. Left leg up. Okay, again, heel swings back, heel the butt cheek pretty much as quickly as you can without opening the leg. Point through the foot, reach, go to the pinky side edge. Again, this is more if you want to play with shifting over, but if you like the grip on the inside, it gets the chest opening really nicely, that's great. And then start to kick. And you kind of play with your bag here, like do you want to, what kind of balance are you really looking for? It might just be upright. If you want to play with shifting your weight, start to kick forward. Eventually, maybe even finding a block on the ground. Then you have to topple it. Last breath. Release. Coming to the top of your mat, shake it out. Man, that was kind of hard. Take the arms out and up, inhale. On your exhale, fold down. Halfway lift, inhale. Optional exhale to Chaturanga Vinyasa. I'm going to down dog. Okay, from here, let's just move right to plank again. We're going to move into half pigeon. So you're going to take your right knee to the right wrist, your right heel towards probably the hip crease. Then from there, slide back. With blocks and stuff, you can put it underneath that whole hip space to lift you a little higher if you want. I'm going to twist mine, so you can fold like Gavin is. But if you want to play with a little bit of twisting, which we didn't do, well, we did a little bit of twisting here and there, but not like a seated prayer twist. You're going to actually take your left elbow across to where your right knee is and try to go all the way down. And then take your hand to your fist and use that to leverage. And then eventually you might even want to put a block underneath your head or something to get a little bit more height for your head so you're not using your neck. Take another breath in. Full exhale. Release, release, release. Unravel this. You're going to swing your back leg forward. So I didn't even mention knee stuff in that one. That was probably not very nice for Mikey if you ever watch this. If you do have knee stuff, you lay on your back or you do figure four. I'll show it on the other side. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a stacked pigeon. So try to stack the heel in line with your knee, and you might have to sit on blocks for this one. You might have to go a little wider, but if you can, you're going to try to stack that top knee up, in which case you could even put a block under this a little bit if that helps. I don't personally like the block there. Again, if you need a little bit more space, you could also just stack in front as such with your left leg on top. You can fold, hang out and sit here. If you feel like this is just not happening and you feel like your knees are still kind of like in the way of some sort, or some tension isn't giving you much of a stretch, it's just too tight, you can do the figure 4 stretch like this, leaning it back a little bit and then working yourself up to the leg, which is also a good pigeon one modification. Every breath, try to go from the bottom to the top. And when you exhale, see if you can push or feel into the ground more. Just embracing the floor, pushing back up against you. Take another breath. And exhale. Slowly start to lift out from where you are. Optional transition, you can move right into chaturanga, you could just go back to down dog, you can go to plank. I'm going to go right to plank from here for the other side. And we're going to do pigeon first. So knee to the wrist, foot forward. Try to shift back a little bit, no knee pain whatsoever. And then you fold. Now, I didn't, again, show this on the other side, but if you did have a wall, you could lay up against it too. So if there was a wall where Gavin is, you can also take that leg out and then bend your knee towards the wall, or away from the wall, and use the wall to push you. And this can also take some of the angling to where you have more control. It's not as intense. If you're twisting like I did on the other side, that felt nice. Take the elbow across. This side for me is so much tighter, so I'm going to be a little gentler. Take one more breath. When you're done exhaling, come all the way up. We're going to take the back leg to the front and start to stack it again, going a little bit wider through the front leg as much as possible, or not as much as possible, but as much as it can get into the knee alignment without impinging on the knee. And then as you start to work in, play with it again. You could always bend that front leg up and try to work from there. It might even be a little bit more like this, with the leg straight for a while. Take another breath. Slowly start to come on out. Get to the top of your shape and then transition. If you want to do one more chaturanga vinyasa, this is your time. Let's go ahead and meet in a down dog. Just one more. It's always nice to do one more down dog. Yeah, so just feeling the ground now. Notice how your legs feel, hips, hamstrings, how the shoulders feel. We did a little bit of opening there too. Let the head go, no, no, no. Go ahead and pull to plank. Let your hips drop. Do a little up dog. If you want to untuck the toes, you can untuck. I sometimes will keep the toes tucked and the knees lifted, but be really mindful of your low back if you're doing that. Take a breath, stretch from the whole front to the top of the chin. Exhale, bring your knees down. Lean back into a child's pose stretch. And then slowly, as you feel good, roll up. We're going to flip to the back. So from here, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. And just start to get nice and easy. Squeeze it all in. So you can grab around. If you have knee stuff, it's not feeling good that way, grab underneath. And then let's take happy baby. So you're going to kick the heels up, grab the outer edges of your feet, pull your elbows down, kick the heels up. So it's a little bit more active initially, but then when you feel good, you can just start to circle around the hip space, tap your husband, or your person, or your dog. I'm just going to notice if there's any other interesting spots. If you're feeling safe and you'd like to do shoulder stand, you're going to use your arms. Push the hips up, put your hands right on that low back space, and then take the toes up to the ceiling. You can kind of play with stuff there, letting the legs, blood flow back down to the heart. Plow is a nice option. But essentially, before we really take Shavasana and I read our little short meditative excerpt, take on whatever else feels good to you. Things that are going to help you come to a place of rest. As we start to get there, I'm just going to kind of explain how we finish class, and you may have already started to take Shavasana. I'm just going to read this short story. You can tune me out. You can listen to it. You can find your own way. I'm not going to take you out of Shavasana, so if you know that you have the time to sleep or to be there for a while, just do your thing. If you like to time yourself, maybe set a timer now. Getting to Shavasana, legs long, arms long, and start breathing. Before we read, we will take a collective internet breath. Exhale everything out. Take a full breath in. And a big exhale. This story is called The Monk and the Snake. Once a very long time ago, there lived a hermit monk. He preferred to spend his time well away from the trappings of society and instead sought seclusion within nature to deepen his meditation practice. He would still visit the local village early each morning to collect his alms food, and this had been the way of our monk lived for many years. One fine afternoon, after our monk had received his alms food, he found his usual meditation cushion and began to be aware of his breathing and started to practice the meditation. His concentration became so great, our monk sat for a very long time and didn't notice the large snake coming closer and closer. Our monk was absorbed with his pointed concentration, was so absorbed that he had become as still as a tree. The large snake didn't even notice the silent and still monk, who was meditating as a still tree. All he noticed was a nice warm sleeping spot in those monk robes, all draped around his crossed legs. And in the sunshine, our snake snuggled into the monk's lap and fell asleep. Monk in deep meditative concentration, and our snake fast asleep on his lap, until slowly the monk returned his concentration to his surroundings and began to become very aware of an unusual weight in his lap. You can imagine the surprise of the monk as he glanced down into his lap. As bold as brass, a very large snake had indeed curled up in his lap and fallen fast asleep. Fear grasped our monk, who instantly closed his eyes and started meditating. Again, he calmed himself and remembered his training. All things are impermanent and forever changing, and knew without a doubt the snake would move on again, and so he stayed in meditation. But our snake was very comfortable and didn't want to move. He stayed where he was, fast asleep. This went on for many days, until even the villagers had started to notice the absence of their monk and decided to pay him a visit. The villagers came with food and offerings, and as they approached, they noticed the monk sat silently in meditation. They were all so absorbed with the serenity of the monk and his stillness that they didn't notice the snake curled up fast asleep in his lap. Slowly each villager bowed with respect to the meditating monk and left their offerings and our monk to his meditation. Life went on like this for many days. Our monk out of fear in a deep meditative concentration, our snake fast asleep on his lap, all comfortable as could be, and the villagers coming each and every day to offer food. Finally our snake found himself hungry, so he uncurled himself from the monk's lap. Stretched his biggest stretch, he went off in search. Our monk also slowly came out of meditation, but something had changed deep within. He had sat for many days in complete absorption of his mind and saw as clear as a mountain the lake, the processes within our mind that cause humanity so much pain and suffering. He had attained enlightenment. He had experienced for himself the true impermanence of all phenomena and the attachment to everything which causes our sufferings. As our monk slowly opened his eyes, a great sense of loving kindness filled his heart. He noticed all the offerings from the local villagers and was compelled with compassion to help their sufferings. He packed his small bag and started the walk to the village, where he stayed and taught for the rest of his life the root causes of sufferings and the way to enlightenment. Meditation helps to calm the mind and settle the overthinking. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Namaste.